Chinhee, it is wonderful to have you on the show. I have been following you for quite some time. I have to say, it means so much to me that you're here. I just want to introduce you a little bit by saying that what really attracts me to you is your authenticity. You have this incredible earthy realness that is incredibly grounded, yet you're so connected to the mystical. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Thank you so much, Tanya. I'm total pleasure being here. Um, I'm grateful you found me. And who I am a medium, psychic healer. That's the best way I can describe myself. Been seeing spirits since I was 5 years old, and but raised by a very strict Catholic family that didn't believe in those abilities. So it was kind of a struggle. I have a twin sister, Soonhee Park. We struggled. We had actually put our gifts on hold for quite some years, and they didn't. They finally busted out around 25 years old. So from 5 years old, they had to be put on hold all for till 25, and then
Was
we
this
busted out.
was this a secret that you guys had with each other then, or did you expose some of the things that you were perceiving and get shut down by your parents, your family?
Oh yes, the first time when I saw my grandpa's spirit at 5 years old, mm, um, the day before he passed, I was actually on his lap telling him, please don't leave me. And my sister was actually acting out his heart attack, like pretending she was dying. And that was, they didn't really, they saw us as like strange, let's put it that way. They thought that we were just weird. And I would they would kind of put two and two together and see us acting like this, and a thing like saying things would come out of our mouths and they would get validation like the next day. But to them, it was easier for them to deny it. So,
Do you think that if you didn't have your sister to share the stuff that you were experiencing, that you would have stuffed up your abilities for a lifetime?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that?
Sure. Do you feel that if you hadn't had your sister to share these feelings and the intuition that you guys experienced this perception with, if you didn't have her and you would have been shut down by your parents, do you think that you would have walked away continuing to lead a life that wasn't connected to your intuition? Do you think you would have shut it down if you hadn't had her?
Probably, yes, because she was the one at 25 years old, um, told me, you're psychic, we have gifts, and you are connected to the spirit world. You saw grandpa's spirit when you were a baby. You have psychic abilities as well. She's the one that told me, and I was in denial. And that's pretty much what happened because we were shut down. I went into denial and kept ignoring my gifts, living a life full of like complete anxiety. I had such bad anxiety. I was very introverted, shy. I was actually a mute too after at 5 years old. I became a mute, and it was just such a like thinking back from 5 to 25, it was just such a struggle because I denied my gifts and suppressed them.
Did you deny them also because you and your sister had experienced a lot of trauma?
Um, honestly, I believe our gifts came out even more so due to the trauma, but it was just the mere fact of our parents not accepting us and trying to shove religion, you know, at us, trying to make us feel like we were crazy or we were just freaks.
And
They
when you
didn't
were,
accept it.
yeah, sorry. And when you were 25, what type of work were you doing? You know, you say you're really shut down and full of anxiety. And what type of work were you doing, and what type of work was your sister doing?
So even though we were shut down, our gifts were coming out anyway. It's not like we could repress them. We actually at 19 moved together to New York City, and we got spotted on the streets of New York City by a talent agent who sent us out on auditions for like Law and Order, MTV, and all these great like Japanese movies, and it was really fun. We started doing acting and modeling, and then we were more interested in behind the scenes. So we started to actually, the manager that was sending us out on these auditions had an alcohol problem, and he said, called us one day and said, I'm in Florida getting help. I'm giving you my business. And we were 19 years old. We were like, whoa, wow. Now we're going to be sending people out on auditions, models and actors. And it's like, we were just amazed. And through obtaining his business and just going out on auditions and stuff, knowing a little about it, we were using our gifts by intuitively picking actors and models and knowing what they were going to book. So our gifts were being exercised through that business that we had. We didn't really realize it until later, but in actuality, someone actually pointed out, how do you know that someone's going to book this? And we were just like, we just know. The moment we looked at one of the actors or the models, we were like, yeah, she's going to book this. Yep, he's going to get this part.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
were you and your sister always in harmony with those feelings of intuition?
Yes, pretty much. I would just always trust what she said and go with it. And she would always trust my intuition and say, yeah, it was very smooth flowing. But hers were, she would find that she would have different niches. Like she was more, she would gravitate more towards the music people. So she would feel more the music people, and I would feel more of the actors.
And is she a little bit opposite from you as far as you're a very inward person, and is she more of an outgoing person?
Oh my God, yes. She is like the complete exhibitionist extrovert. Yes.
So you guys have this way of balancing each other out in the art.
Definitely. Definitely. The yin and yang.
So it sounds just miraculous and beautiful that she was the one who said, you know, well, you really have a gift. I think a lot of people never have anybody tell them that. And you loved her and trusted her enough to believe her.
No, I told her she was crazy. just like what people did to me. I told her, you're crazy. I don't want to be psychic. I don't want to have these gifts. And she literally just tested me at that moment and said, here's this invite, touch it. Because when you touch something that someone gives to you, it's called object empathy. And then you can pick up on energies through the object. And she gave me this invite, said, touch it. What do you pick up? What do you see? And I just looked at her like she was crazy. And I was like, what do you mean? What do I see? I see an invite. And she's like, no, you see who gave me this invite. And then all of a sudden, it's almost like she was activating my gifts. And I said to her, wow, a short blonde haired girl with red lipstick and black clothes on. So she knew I was very visual.
Wow.
And I had literally described the girl who had handed her the invite, and she slapped me in the face with the invite and said, I told you, you're psychic.
That's a great story.
Anyone who knows my sister knows that she would have done that.
And so that was the beginning to you being like, okay, well, what's next?
Well, no, it scared the shit out of me. I was like, what? That's crazy. And
at this point you were still anxious, right? Still an anxious kind of person going through it.
Because I was trying to deny it still. That's the only reason why I had that anxiety, because I just wanted to continue to deny it because that's what I was used to. And she, around maybe shortly after, a few months, we headed out to California to open up a West Coast talent agency, because the talent agency that we were running, we literally became a niche talent agency because we were the first talent agency who specialized with identical twins, triplets, quadruplets, and ethnic people. and we were also the youngest talent agents in the industry. So we blew up a little bit, and we decided to open up on the West Coast. So we went out there, and apparently our gifts were starting to blow up too. And our friend said, "Do you know you two are like extremely psychic?" And we were just like, "Yeah, we're starting to figure that out." And he said, "You know, you can work and make money off of what you do." And we had no idea. So he got us on this website, and it's a website where people can literally Google and say, "I want a psychic reading," or "I want a lawyer advice." It's like it was a website that had like everything on there. If you wanted doctor's advice, if you wanted a therapist. And so we got on there. Next thing you know, my sister started up and would charge 25 cents a minute. The second she took a phone call, her phone was ringing off the hook. She just, I think the fact that because she was authentic, people connected to that, and people connected to her, and then wanted to call back. And next thing you know, her phone was blowing up, and she was extremely busy. And me, I was too busy trying to stay in denial. And she's like, "Oh, you're going to be working too." The phone rang, she threw it at me and made me answer it. I was like, oh. I was freaking out, and I just said, "Hello?" And this guy on the other end, he's like, "Hi, how are you? I really need to know about my girlfriend, my girlfriend. Is she going to come back to me? My ex-girlfriend, is she going to come back to me?" And then all of a sudden, I just get in my head, "Yes." So I said, "Yes, she is." And he's like, "Oh, do you know when?" And then all of a sudden, I get this vision in my head saying, 2 months. So I said, "Yes, in 2 months." And then all of a sudden, I got a vision of what she looked like. And I said to him, "She had dark brown hair. She was about 21." And he said, "Yes, that's her." So I was like, wow. I honestly do not take credit for that, because I was so scared and anxious that I feel like one of my guides literally swooped in me and took over and did it for me, because they knew how scared I was.
So now you can say that now looking back, but at that time, did you know you were highly connected to guides?
I had to learn, no, I did not. And that's where my anxiety was coming from, because I kept denying it. I kept denying that I was feeling someone with me. I kept denying that that they were giving me the messages. They were giving me the visions. I just kept denying it. I didn't really, no one taught us anything. So it was hard for me to accept.
So I have a question because I see this. It's happening to me, not in the same way. I'm not a medium, but I feel like when you're holding on to something and you can't let go into the next stage of your life, and you have to step into the unknown, and we're terrified, especially because you were taught that if you let go into the art of your intuition and being that connected, it so closely looks like you're going crazy. So was
Mhm.
that the big fear?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think it's just an internal struggle, because you're so used to hearing, "You're crazy, you're a freak, you're not seeing that, you're not," you know, and then the internal struggle of feeling comfortable to go into that right brain spiritual world, the unknown, and to not believe, and to, I think more of it was just to not believe that I am crazy, you know? That's what I had to get over. And
Do you
that's why I emphasize so much about accepting gifts, because it's like, please don't go down the road I did. And I try to emphasize to people to just accept it, because that is the biggest step. And then it just becomes smooth after that.
So how did you guys transition your careers? And with that, did your anxiety find resolution? Did it take a long time?
Well, I don't want to make myself out to sound like everything was so roses, but because we did have a lot of trauma that we were healing from ourselves. We were adopted by a pedophile and was sexually abused from age 5 to 14. And then, just healing from that, and a narcissist mother. It was just, we had a lot to heal from. So what's funny is that, well, it's not funny, but what's amazing is that our those traumas made us, I believe, even more gifted. They made us stronger and just more aware, and more, our gifts activated even more.
Incredible. And you said that at 5 you became a mute. And how did you move back into deciding? Because it feels like when you decide to be a mute, you decide to shut down. Um, when were you able to move back into kind of being here present on Earth?
Um, when I was probably 8 years old, I was my mother didn't realize that. She thought that it was that I was just trying to get attention. I recall, like, literally not being able to talk, even if I wanted to. Like, I would want to, but it just wouldn't come out. Um, and then when I finally did break out of it, I believe it was because my sister, you know, her love helped heal me, and she gave me tough love too. Um, so I'm pretty sure that that's what got me talking. I mean, just like, because she was such a talker. She was doing the talking for both of us, and I think I'm pretty sure she helped heal me and get me to that point. And then when I started talking, I was stuttering, but I went to stuttering classes and stuff. And then now you see, I can't even shut up.
That's incredible. I just want to commend you on your life's path, and I just want you to know that I just see you as such a badass now. So
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for being such a survivor. And it's so beautiful to me that you had your sister too. Now that you've really mastered essentially the art of your own intuition and your sisters, do you have a deeper and different understanding of why you and your sister came to Earth, you know? And
Yeah, to help heal people, to help show people, especially those who've been abused and who have been through so much trauma and abuse, that they can literally live a happy life and heal themselves through healing others.
so is in this way, does being a medium, how does being a medium help in that way?
In healing other people. Well, being a medium, my guides, and that's, I've had to come to terms with who my guides are. And the more I've acknowledged my guides, which is my mother, who passed when we were 15, my father too, even though he was a pedophile, he's like trying to make it up to us in the spirit world. He passed like 5 years ago. And then our baby brother, who passed when we were 2 years old. Um, so I've acknowledged my prominent guides, and that has helped me so much more. Um, I was struggling when I didn't acknowledge them. So it's like a lot more clear acknowledging your guides and accepting them. And then they show you everything. They literally use me as a portal. I'm being used as a portal, basically. Um, I'm sorry, what was your question? I kind of see, I told you I go
No,
off the tangents.
well,
Oh, the mediumship and how it
yeah.
helps heal people. So my guides, I connect with your guides, and intuitively they will show me what I need to bring up to you. So say you have an issue with your mom. and she happens to be a little narcissistic, and that's like one of your issues. Intuitively, your guides will bring that up and show me, and I will bring it up to you, and it literally activates and starts the healing process for you, because that's one of your issues that you're struggling with. So,
So you're bringing
um,
acknowledgement and a safe space. And what I come to understand in healing is that there's actually not a lot to do but offer recognition and that safe space,
yeah,
space for
pretty much.
grief
Yes,
and pain.
yes. I mean, a lot of people feel guilty that they didn't get to say goodbye to their loved ones before they pass. And from what I hear from people, it gives them a sense of closure. It gives them a sense of peace because they were able to communicate, or they feel like they were able to communicate with their loved ones once again when they use me for my services. I mean, when they come to me for my services, it's like they just feel, I can't even describe it, because when they tell me, they can't even describe it. They're saying it's like a sense of peace, of closure,
It
and
sounds like liberation, you know?
which probably helps heal them. So if their father died 20 years ago, and they felt this guilt of not being there for their father or helping their father before he passed, and for 20 years they feel this guilt, and then they come to me and talk to me, and I connect with their father, and their father's like, can you please tell him to not feel guilty anymore? You know, it's like weight lifted off of them. you know they feel reassured.
And so now they have a new way of living their life because you also offer an understanding of what it looks like in the afterlife. Can you share a little bit about what that's like?
I mean, I can only go by with what they show me, and I try to reiterate the best I can. um so I'll use just an example. I just did a reading, and a grandma was coming through, and she really wanted me to let her granddaughter know, because she never knew her. She really wanted her to know that she was one of her guides and that she was around. And her grandma then therefore showed me this woman's past, present, and future. And so I received the visions, and I told her what she was showing me about her past, and she'd confirm it, and then some about her present, and then I was sharing with her what her grandma was showing me about her future. And it's like, just connecting in that way, I feel like people trust me. They trust that I've connected with their loved one that passed, and they feel they just end up feeling good and reassured and hopeful. So there's two different kinds of spirits that I pick up on. So one is like the peaceful, like grandma that lived a great life, long life, and she's peaceful and she's crossed over, and she just wants her person to know that she's around. But then there's the other spirit that's a little bit more unsettled and feels actually alive to me, because they're so much more potent. And what they show me is that they're sticking around. They're earthbound. They're not crossed over. And a lot of people have the misconception of that if they're earthbound, they're unsettled and they're not happy. It's not the case. My mom was earthbound for like over 35 years, and she literally helped me for the 35 years of my life, and guided us and protected us, probably more so than when she was physically alive. So what's amazing is how they show me how much they do for us from the spirit world, which is like 10 times more than what they could have done if they were physically alive. So it's pretty amazing. I'll give you an example. Like, one woman had a car accident, and I was telling her, your mom was at that car accident. She said she moved that car so you guys weren't. dead in that car accident. She literally helped save your life. And the woman told me, I did feel my mother was there. So I think it's amazing that people are connecting more and more and seeing more clearly how they are working for us from the spirit world.
It seems like we're connected through this crazy, intense web network of compassion. It's like, I've been watching this really old series on Netflix. It's I Shouldn't Be Alive. And what's just so fascinating is you have this repeating experience of when people are about to die, how it's feeling the compassion and concern for others that keeps them going. And it sounds like that's carrying over in the spirit world.
Yeah, definitely.
That seems so incredible to stay connected to that. And I guess I just want to give voice to all the people out there that really don't feel compassion for themselves. And I hope that they get to hear this podcast.
I would like to also say that those people that are feeling so alone and having no support and feel like they have no one that they turn to, trust me, you're not alone. The spirit guides are so much more potent than people that are physically around.
Wow. Is there a practice that you can share for everyday people that, because I've kind of been noticing that as an empath, and I know you work with a lot of empaths, that, I have a lot of hangups sometimes, and I've been making up a process. So let me tell you what it is so you can help me fine tune it. I kind of go in and I'm like, okay, all these connections and negative cords I'm releasing, and I'm calling in all my angels and guides, and I'm taking the space of my body and the space of my home with light. I try to do that. Is that something that you do every day or recommend to help people?
Honestly, no, I don't do that.
Wow.
I'm just saying, just being honest. I don't even meditate. And I'm not trying to deter people to not meditate, but to me, like, just even talking to someone is a state of meditation for me. It's almost like a mental state you have to put yourself in. Um, to me, just even sitting down, maybe if I'm just even playing a game on my phone, that's meditative state for me. For me, before I'm about to do a reading, just me talking to myself and making sure that I'm feeling good physically, mentally, and emotionally. Probably like a few minutes before my reading. I don't really do anything like that. I know that my guides are with me. I know that they know I have a reading coming up and that they're going to be doing the work. If anything, I have completely submitted to my guides and let them take over. And whatever I do and say is what is supposed to come out.
Amazing. And so, you did bring forth the reality that, you had gone through a lot and that you had to work through a tremendous amount. And how is your anxiety now? Are you just living in your connection and kind of rolling with synchronicities in your life now and feeling good and in your heart?
I'll tell you, I've had anxiety up until, so I've been on CBD for 12 years, but it wasn't just the CBD. It was like dealing with issue after issue, trigger after trigger, and constantly just being aware of when I get triggered. And, we had so many issues with our father, our mother, our birth parents. The last issues that we are dealing with now, well, just to answer your question, I haven't had a panic attack in 13 years. Ever since so I was like, ever since I started doing the work, it's like every year my anxiety was getting less and less. The more I was accepting my purpose on this earth, my mission in life, and the more I was helping people to heal and giving them closure, it was healing me.
Wow.
And my anxiety was getting less and less. And then, I was on antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds for 10 years. And I feel like I'm not totally against them, but I'll tell you right now, the damages that it did to me, I wouldn't recommend that for anyone. I would say maybe do it for like a year or two, but after that, anything more than that, you're going to be dealing with digestive issues. you're going to be dealing with some health issues. And when I finally got off of them and got on natural holistic stuff was when I started to even see more clear, and literally have not had a panic attack or even bad anxiety for like 13 years now.
Amazing.
It was amazing. And a lot of the anxiety comes from our gifts and not accepting them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's something you bring to people's attention, because I feel like, especially women, maybe I'm wrong, but I understand and sympathize with women more. We don't want to recognize anything great in ourselves.
Yeah. And, I just want to mention this quickly because of what I was going through and my gifts. I did go to doctors, and a lot of them were diagnosing me with bipolar, schizophrenia, multiple personalities, paranoid schizophrenia, because I would be honest and tell them what I was experiencing, what I was seeing. And I want everyone to know that you literally feel so bad when someone is diagnosing you with that. The medical terms have no compassion, and it's just, you literally feel like you have to get on medications, you have to get better, and that you're this sick person with this mental disorder and illness. And I have learned, and I was able to get through my issues and all of those symptoms that I was portraying um, through the spiritual perspective. No, you don't have bipolar. You are a medium. No, you don't have multiple personalities. It's your gifts. Spirits are using you as a portal. That's why you're displaying different personalities. It's your gifts. And that's what I've been also trying to teach people, because it just helps them feel better, because they don't feel like a freak or that they're sick for life. They're actually understanding themselves and learning how to embrace their gifts instead of feeling like this misfit freak and being sick for life. So the spiritual perspective of mental disorders is really, you're gifted.
That's so badass. I have chills all over my body. I think I'm going to call this podcast that. The spiritual perspective of mental disorders. And can you tell us a little bit about what's the fuck is happening in the world right now?
Oh, you don't even know, man. I love aliens, and I
I
really
know I
believe.
saw the tattoos on your arms, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Oh my God. So I have I'm pretty sure I have an alien guide, and I'm pretty sure we all do. But one of them has really taken a liking to me, and he's a great alien. He's been showing me so much information and download and having me download information. What they have told us is that everything that's been going on globally in this world, it's almost like these people aren't dying, like the people from 9/11 that died, and all these like horrific mass killings, and all the, like, people think it's depopulation. um the aliens have showed me, and my spirit guides have showed me, that they're literally taking these people and putting them in another dimension. So it's like they're not really dead. And they're saying that this world has gotten so out of control because we have lost insight of love, and it's become so materialistic. So that it's almost like they do these things to get us to learn lessons and to get us to unite more. They also showed me that there's a new world, and that they're merging the two together, and that's what causes the physical, like the hurricanes, the tornadoes, and the major physical things that are going on in the world. The new world is merging into ours to help save our almost destroyed world. And the aliens have been living among us for years. People don't even realize it. They have been living among us. But the new worlds merging together are going to allow them to live with us even more and help us even more. People get scared. They don't know what's really going on. They feel something, but they don't know. And ever since my alien guide has shown me that, I have literally felt peaceful. It's like my perspective of everything that's going on is just so much more, so different.
Did you see that movie about the guy who was an ER doctor who taught this protocol of meditation in order to contact? I forget what it's called, but you do this meditation and you can actually contact aliens when you're coming from a place of intense compassion, because that's what he says is that they're actually just almost Gandhian sentient beings with so much
Yeah,
love.
yes. There's nothing to be scared of. They're here to protect us and help us.
And with your experience, you say that you're highly, highly visual. Have you seen, has it physically kind of shifted when you're working as a medium? Have you had really intrusive spirits almost touch you and physically feel, or is it more of a painting to you?
You mean my visuals of the
Uh-huh.
spirits? Oh, they definitely are more than a painting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they definitely, in fact, I was just talking about this in my live the other day, how I don't know, because of this pandemic, it seems like there's more spirits because so many people have passed. And then also seems like a portal has opened because there's entities that aren't human. And they're like shadowy, black shadowy figures that are like walking by you, or like they swoosh by you actually. And I'm like, what the hell was that? Because it didn't feel human. It didn't have any messages for me. So it's something non-human. And there's definitely more of that going on because people are even noticing it. They'll be sitting there at their desk watching Netflix, and then all of a sudden they see something walk by or swoosh by. So it's definitely getting more
Interesting. And can you tell me?
interesting.
Well, I was doing a podcast with Michael Mead, and he was saying that he's this amazing storyteller, and he was saying that that even COVID is an entity in itself, that it's quite an entity.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so I'm curious about the art of turning things on and turning things off. Everyone has something kind of different to say. Like if you're going to get a sandwich and you get like pulled to act, do you always, how do you know, how do you keep it business? How do you keep this art business?
What do you mean? I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
Like, you have a business and a practice, and
Uh-huh.
but say you're going to the sandwich place to get a sandwich and you get really called, or a spirit's talking to you to talk to the employee
Oh,
there.
oh.
How do you behave with that? It seems so messy.
So I believe that, well, before I used to be so shy and I would just internalize everything, but I can't do that anymore because it causes digestive issues. So um, I recall one day I was in Long Island and I went to this Italian restaurant, and this like 50, 60-year-old Italian man was standing there, and I was ordering my food, waiting for it. And I just looked at towards the back of the restaurant, and I saw this older woman in a pink dress, and she was like waving at me, and I was just like, oh man, really? I can't even pick up my pizza in peace, really? And so I said, I looked at him and I looked at her and I looked back at him and I said, your mom is here. And he goes, what? And I said, your mom is sitting at the back of the restaurant in a pink dress. And he just went, you gotta be kidding me. He was like this Italian man. He's like, you gotta be kidding me. What is she saying? And I said, she's saying that she folded your clothes and that she is still taking care of you like you're 15 years old. And he said, oh my God. He said, I just told my friend today, I sure miss my mom taking care of me.
Oh.
And he said, what color was her dress? And I said, pink. And he said, that's the dress we buried her in. So he took it very well. He was actually a little bugged out, but he took it. And, you know, some people's reactions will be like, what? Are you crazy? Like, that's creepy. But they take it well. And I feel like if I'm meant to do that, if my mouth starts to open and it's actually flowing out, then I'm meant to give that message to that person, whether it's in public, private, doesn't matter. And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't turn off. It
Wow.
doesn't ever turn off. So I feel like the more I'm giving out these messages, the better I will be and
Wow.
the better I will feel. Because if I internalize them and keep it inside me, I will feel messed up.
Wow. I
Yeah.
really love that you gave voice to the fact that if you don't share this, that you have physically seen it turn into digestive issues. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
it has.
So you're probably sitting there with digestive issues going like, damn, I should have just told that person.
That's so true. Digestive issues, anxiety, it's like amazing how it affects you physically and emotionally.
So your message really is to land in who you are, really honor yourself enough to accept the gifts that you were given and to really know that you are not alone.
Yeah, that's a good one. You really could sum it up real good.
And do you stay in touch with your sister all the time? Are you constantly in touch with her? Or?
Oh, are you kidding me? You want to talk about blowing up my phone? That yeah, it's like you really we haven't separated. I don't know. We have literally worked together and lived together for 50 years. And we're turning 51 in October 22nd. And before 2 months ago, we said to each other, looked at each other, said, God, I'm so sick of waking up and seeing your face. It's time to cut the cord, man. I just can't deal. And we both got girlfriends. So it's like we finally separated at 50, and I'm like just living my life without my sister. And it feels so weird too, because it was almost like being a Siamese twin and finally getting surgery and cutting her off and learning to live on my own by myself, you know. It's so weird, but that's pretty much how I think any twin will be able to relate to that.
That's amazing. So is your business connected with her?
Oh God, everything's connected. Um, even I think we even have a bank account together. It's like, geez, yeah, everything. We have our psychic business. We have a psychic website business where we handpick all the psychics. There's about 60 psychics on that website.
Wow.
We handpick them because we only want authentic, real people
Wow.
representing us and working with
Beautiful.
us. Um,
And
we
what's
don't
that
want no
website?
we don't want no, oh, for $5,000 we could get your boyfriend back. No, we don't want any of that crap. Get disgusted with that and we just want people to like get the healing and experience and not be scared to be getting ripped off, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The website is espsychics.com. And we also have a CBD that we work with, a CBD brand. So, because the stuff out there is so expensive and people really need it. And it's like, we wanted to like deal with someone that literally had the highest quality for the lowest price. So that's another thing that we do.
So you've had incredible effects working with the plant medicine CBD. Has your sister as well? Is it really useful for her genetic structure as well?
Yeah, she's a little different. She has ADHD, which is her mediumship, because she doesn't want to see the spirits, so she struggles a little bit. And I'm like, well, when you're ready to see them, you won't have any more ADHD. And she's nothing but holistic. My sister, our niches are, I'm more of the emotional healer, and she's the physical healer. As soon as she doesn't like to announce it and make it public because of the fact that, well, now that I have, um, the one time that she did a physical healing session, the woman literally gave her so much stuff and money, and oh my God, she was so appreciative and like just blew up my sister, like to the point where we were having people knock on our door all day and all night for healing sessions.
Wow.
It's like the whole world. You either have a mental, emotional issue or you have a physical issue. It's
Wow.
like all ages. And ever since then, she was keeping it on the hush hush because it does take a lot out of her.
I bet.
But she's completely medical intuitive, can look at you and be like, you're on too much milligrams of this prescription medicine. You need to lower it.
Wow.
And when you finally lower it, be on it for 2 months and then get on this holistic, and she'll give you the name of the holistic medicine that will help you and help heal what the prescription damage did. It's like she will tell you so much. She's not, I'm like, okay, Dr. Chinhee. She literally is. She will scan your body, look at your body and scan it and be like, you need to do this right now. You need to cut this out of your system. You need to stop eating this, stop drinking this. And yeah, she's amazing in that sense.
Do you often share clients, like if you can tell that this person needs this, you'll just pass them over to her and vice versa?
Oh, that's her. She's like, oh, this one is for you. Oh, this one's for you. And I'm like, oh, really? If someone like tells me, oh, I have like I'm going to the doctor's tomorrow, I'll be like, oh, Suni, this one's for you. Because, and it seems like all of them are for me. Like, you just don't want to work. She's funny. No, but she's very intuitive with that because she'll be like, I told you that was for you. But it'll be like 10 in a row for me, and then, oh, one for Suni. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. And for some reason, I feel like I want to ask about animals. Like, do you get animal
Oh,
spirits too?
that's my sister's niche. I'm telling you, I love animals. They love me too. But I am very intuitive with the emotionally abused ones, like the abused ones that have anxiety, separation anxiety, or have been abused and need a little more healing. They need a little more softer approach. I connect with those. My sister is the physical. She literally found 5 missing dogs. There were people that were posting. She found 5 missing dogs for people, and they will all go to her because she is known as the animal finder.
Wow.
Yeah, she's found 5 missing dogs, and then like I think 3 cats, like within a few months, and it just seemed like everyone started missing dogs and cats, and I was like, oh my god, that was crazy. She was able to find them, and that's her niche.
Wow, cool. And I just love following you and your stuff on TikTok. What are you aiming for in your delivery? Like, what would you say your niche is there?
My niche is like not just one thing because I'm so many different things. I'm like trying to support my LGBT community, so I have to stick in a fun LGBT video once in a while. um but but it's like if you see my videos, it's like there's some where I'm doing a reading and showing my gifts. There's some that I'm doing a mediumship reading, some I'm doing a psychic reading, and then I have my LGBT videos. And then for a while there, I was learning sign language because I wanted to I was starting to get deaf clients, and I wanted to be
Wow.
able to do sign language, do a reading in sign language for my deaf client.
Wow.
And I have learned a lot of the sign language, but I don't have one niche. And now I'm learning tap dance.
Oh,
So
that's
it's like,
so cool.
yes, predominantly it is mediumship and my gifts and stuff, but I also want to get into like transference of energies. So when people do go to my videos, they're going to feel like this surge of energy or this calmness and feel like they're actually, you know, activating their own gifts and feeling a little like, feeling safe.
That's so cool. So, um, just to clarify, you're saying that when you're doing your mediumship, you're a portal, but when you're landed in that psychic, is that you? Would you say that's more of your soul doing those psychic readings, or are you still a portal then?
Oh, I'm still a portal. I feel like I'm 100%, 110% medium, but it has also opened up my psychic abilities. And I feel like I always give credit to my guides that are using me as a portal. They're showing me the psychic visions and the responses that I need to give to these people that are asking psychic questions. It's all because of them. I I take like a little credit. I'm just the body, the vessel being used.
So for people out there wanting to discover more of their gifts, do you have any suggestions for them?
I have been also thinking about doing a little offering like a little training, um not like a training video, to give tips on how to really hone in on your abilities. Um so I'm thinking about doing that because so many people are asking, and I feel that it would benefit a lot of people if they get in touch with their gifts. It's almost like I've had a lot of people say, like, why do we need to have psychic gifts? Well, hello, you're intuitively walking down the street, you're being told to go left, but your body's saying go right, and your intuition is telling you to go right. And then you look back and you see you just passed by someone who got hurt in the space that you were about to go left in. You just saved your own ass with your
So
intuition.
interesting. So you're saying that you're in your intuition that your body knows. So sometimes listen to the pull of the body as
Yeah. Sometimes if because there's people who are so into their heads with thoughts, they have all these racing thoughts going on. It's when you have that going on, you really have to pay attention to your body then, because you can't pay attention to your thoughts because there's too many. You're receiving too many of them. So it's best to go with your body. Is your body sitting there not doing anything, but yet your mind's telling you you need to go out and do this and do that, but yet your body's not doing anything? So I would listen to your body. You're not supposed to be doing anything. You're supposed to be relaxing more. You're probably not going out because your guides are telling you don't go out right now because you're not, so you don't get COVID, or so you don't get into an accident or get robbed. So who cares why? It's just listen to your body.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on, and I hope that some people reach out to you because I know there's people that want to connect to their own guides more and get more clarity. I think it's incredible that you were brave enough to move through your trauma, and that must have been such a challenge to accept the perpetrators as actually ones that want to give you gifts now from the other side. And that just opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, trust me, I'm not going to say it didn't take me years to forgive, but once you're done grieving and um, what we do as victims and survivors is we are harder on ourselves than the actual perpetrators because we actually forgive them first. What takes longer is to forgive ourselves. So when you're actually ready to forgive yourself and really heal and fully heal, you'll be able to actually have more compassion for the abusers.
Amazing.
So you're so cute. Thank you so much for having me. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, you definitely have gifts just from, like I said, I feel like people feel really safe talking to you about their life stories, even if you don't want to hear about it. Too much information, but they feel so cozy telling you because you're an emotional healer too.
Thank you so much.
No
Yeah,
problem.
it's kind of a crazy journey, and I really appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to produce this episode. And I just, I'm sending so many blessings your way for a continued amazing, successful life. And thank you so much for sharing your story so bravely.
Thank you so much. It was total pleasure.